In this lesson, we will learn how to create network security group rules. First, we will learn about network security rule configuration parameters. Then we will create a new network security group. After that, we will add a new security rule to allow RDP traffic. Finally, we will conclude our lesson with the review questions. Now, let's get into the detailed breakdown of the source field options in an Azure Network Security Group rule. As you know, these parameters define where the traffic originates. To do that, we need to open Network Security Groups and open the Production Network Security Group 01 and click on the Inbound Security Rules and click Add. As you can see in the source, we can specify any which matches the traffic from any source IP, or we can specify IP addresses which matches the traffic from specific IPs or IP ranges. If we select the My IP address, it automatically picks up the public IP address of the current computer, configuring the security rule. We can also specify the service stacks, which represents a group of Azure managed IP ranges, and we can select any of these service stacks in Azure. And finally, we can specify the application security group, which is the logical groups of network interface tags with the name of the application security group. In this case, we do not have any application security group defined. That is the reason why the source application security groups is grayed down. To find the information about the source port ranges, we can click on the info icon. As you can see in the source port ranges, we can specify a single port, a range of ports, or multiples by separating them with a comma. For the destination, we can specify any or an IP address range or an application security group or a service task. As you can see in the destination, we cannot specify my IP address. Now for the service, we can select the predefined protocol such as RDP or SSH. And when we select these protocols, it will automatically pick up the destination port range for us. However, if we specify the service as custom, we can specify the destination port range the same way as we specify in the source port range. Let's select FTP service. As you can see, when we select FTP service, it automatically picks up the destination port 21 and we cannot change this. And when we change the service to SMTP, then it changes the destination port to 25. And when we switch the service to IMAP, then it changes the destination port to 143. To specify the destination port, we have to select the service as a custom. And now we can enter the destination port ranges. When we configure the service as custom, we can specify the protocol either as any or TCP or UDP or ICMP version 4. Then we can specify the action. It could be either allow or deny. After that, we can configure the priority from 100 to 4096, and the rules are processed in the priority order, where the lower the number, the higher the priority, and Microsoft recommend leaving the gaps between the rules. For example, the first rule we configure 100, then the second rule we configure is with the priority 200, the next one with the priority 300. By leaving the gaps in between, it is easier to add new rules without having edit existing rule. And finally, we can specify the name for the rule. Let's practice with configuring a network security group. As you know, in this network diagram, the server MAZDFS01 is attached with a public IP address 172.191.88.1, which provides full inbound and outbound access with the Internet. In this practice, we will create an NSG def SNet NSG01 and associate it with the VM def subnet, which stops Internet traffic. After that, we will add an NSG rule to allow RDP traffic from the current laptop to the server. Let's check the network settings of the server MAZDFS01. To do that, we open virtual machines, then open the server, then click on the network settings. As you can see, currently the network interface of the server MAZDFS01 is assigned with the public IP address 172.191.88.1, and it has the private IP address 10.0.1.4, and it is attached to the VM dep subnet. Now let's click on the virtual network VNet01. Then we click on the subnet VM dep subnet to open. And we scroll down. As you can see, the VM dep subnet has no network security group attached to it. Now let's open the remote desktop connection and connect to the server via its public IP address 172.191.88.1, then click connect. Here we paste the password of the ITL admin account, then click OK, then click yes. As you can see, we can remote to the VM successfully. Let's create a new network security group. To do that, in the search box, we type in network security, then we select network security groups, then click on create. In the resource group, we select the infrastructure resource group, and in the name, we paste the name dev-snet-nsg01. Then we click on review and create. After the validation part, we click on create. It takes several minutes for Azure to create a new network security group. Now, when it finished, we click on go to resource. As you can see, the dev-snet NSG01 has been created successfully. As we know, a new network security group is created with the default inbound and outbound security rules. We cannot modify these rules. However, we can override them with our new security rules. In this case, we keep the default and associate the security group to the VM dep subnet. To do that, we click on subnets, then click on associate, and we select the VM dep subnet, then click OK. It takes several minutes for Azure to save the configuration. And that's it. We have just associated the dev-snet and SG01 to the VM dev subnet. Now let's open remote desktop connection and connect to the server MAZDFS01 via its public IP address. So here we click on connect. As you can see, after we associate the DEP, SNET, and SG01 configured with the default security rules to the VM DEP subnet, we can no longer connect to the server MAZDFS01. Now let's add a new security rule to allow the current computer to remote to the server MAZDFS01. To do that, we need to click on the inbound security rules, then click add. In the source, we will change this to my IP address and it will pick up the public IP address of the current computer. And we keep other setting and we just change the service to RDP for us to remote access, and we keep the action as allow, and we keep the priority 100, and we keep the same name allow my IP address RDP inbound, then click add. As you can see, the new security rule allow my IP address RDP inbound with the priority 100 to allow the source IP 23.123.128.28 on the protocol TCP port 3389, which is the RDP protocol to any destination. Please note that the network security group will look for the private IP address of the VM or the server, not the public IP address. So we select any destination, it will include the private IP address of the server MAZDFS01 and it will allow the remote access. Now let's open the security rule that we have just created. As you can see, it has the priority of 100, which means it will be processed first before the default security rules. So let's close this and open the remote desktop connection and connect to the server via its public IP address, and we paste the password of the ITL admin account and click yes. As you can see, we can connect to the server MAZDFS01 via its public IP address successfully. Let's conclude our lessons with the review questions.